Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. In this video we're going to be looking at question number 18 on the 2017 Pascal paper. So that's the grade 9 multiple choice paper. If you'd like a copy of this contest, click the very first link in the description. Click the second link and it'll take you to all the past contests from the University of Waterloo. You can give any one of them a try. They even have solutions there. Alright, 18. Given two numbers on a number line, the number to the right is greater than the number to the left. This is how we read left to right. In different countries, perhaps the number line is different. Although, just as a little aside, I don't think so, thanks to European colonialism and imperialism. I think math is pretty much ordered the same way around the world. I think even just for mathematical calculations, our numbers have been adopted everywhere. Okay, don't swear me on that, but I'm pretty sure math is done left to right, even in places where they read right to left. Anyway, let's go back to it. So that's how number lines work. The positions of x cubed, and x squared are marked on a number line. Which of the following is a possible value for x? Okay, so we have some options here. Definitely have some options here. So 1/5, 3/2, -2/5, -4/3, and 2. Now, this is another one of those classic questions where we can just take each one of these examples in turn, make a number line for them, and see, okay, 3/2. So we'll put that on a standard number line, then we'll square it, where does that fall, cube it, where does that fall, and figure out where it's going on. But we could also just sort of deal with this in our head. X squared is sort of bigger than x cubed. When does that ever happen? 2 times. There's 2 places where that will happen. So you'll get x squared bigger than x cubed if x is less than 0. Then these numbers are getting smaller. Sorry, not less than 0, less than 1. Then the numbers are getting smaller and smaller, and they're getting closer to the 0 value. You know, if x is 0.5, x squared is 0.25. That's further to the left. X cubed is 0.125, so that's further to the left indeed. Okay. You can also get that to happen when you've got negative numbers. Remember, a negative number squared would be positive, and so x would go over to x squared, but then x cubed would be negative again. So it would be less than the positive x squared. Okay? And so we can sort of reason through that, and then we say, okay, when is x cubed bigger than x? Well, only really when 2 things can happen. Either when x is bigger than 1, because then something like 2 goes to 4, goes to 8, and so then x cubed is bigger than x. Or when x is between 0 and -1. Okay, because then your absolute value is shrinking, you're getting closer to 0. And when you combine those facts in your head, you realize, well, if x squared is bigger than x, then you sort of think, well, x has to be bigger than 1, but then x cubed would be bigger than x squared. So x isn't bigger than 1. It's not positive and less than 1, because then x would be bigger than x squared, which would be bigger than x cubed. That's clearly not what's happening. And we can work out that x has to be negative and be between 0 and -1. And there's only one answer that has that, and that's going to be C, -2/5. Okay, that will be the answer, and we can reason through that. I mean, obviously, it took a long time for me to verbally explain it to you guys, but if your mind works that way, if you can just sort of see, okay, what possible number lines could I have, what sort of arrangements, you can get that very quickly. Like, I had that when I was just reading the 5 of them out. -2/5 is what I'm looking for. But suppose we didn't know how to do that. Suppose we weren't that accustomed to numbers. How would we deal with this question? Okay? Because that's sort of an advanced mental arithmetic way to do it, and that's not for everyone, not yet at least. So how would we do this if we approached this question? We saw it out in the wild and we weren't ready to just sort of imagine in our head, which is something I'd like to encourage you guys to stop and try for a moment. But we can just, for each of these numbers, produce a number line. And as soon as a number line matches what we're looking for, we will say, that must be the right answer. Because you'll notice 0 isn't on this number line. They just sort of have given us part of a number line. But A, 1/5, well, that's between 1 and 0. And when I square that, I'm going to get 1 over 25, which is even closer to 0. But 1 over 25 is less than 1 over 5, but we need to have x squared be bigger. So automatically that fails. I don't need to deal with any more of this. Okay, we'll put 0, put 1, negative 1 here for b. What's b? 3/2. Okay, well, 3/2 is about here. And then when I square it, we get 9/4, which is about here. But when I cube it, I don't come back to somewhere in here. I get 27 over 8, which is even further out here. So that fails. Yeah, I'll leave C to the end just so we can explore the other ones. E, 2. Okay, I won't need... I'll put 0 here, I'll put 1 here. 2 goes here, 4. 8. Yeah, x and x squared look like this, but x cubed is out here. So that's not good. How about D, negative 4/3? Put 0, put 1, put negative 1. So negative 4/3 is about here. So when I square it, I get 16/9, which we'll put up here. Aha, x squared, we're looking good. When I cube it, however, I'm going to get negative 64 over 27, which is over here. So we get x squared, but x cubed is the furthest thing to the left. That's not what we're searching for, so that's out. But now, what's our number line when we do C? Now C, that's negative 2/5. And then that gets squared to be 4/25, and then we cube it, and we get negative 8 over 125. So that's x cubed, x squared. That's exactly what we want. C is our answer. Okay. So that does it for question number 18. We got 2 more to go, and then we hit part C, which is the harder questions. So join me in the next video for question number 19.